I'm sure you all want to get rid of those annoying tanks in Battlefield 6 as quick as possible, right? That's why I took the time to test all the anti-vehicle rocket launchers against each other to find out which one can down a tank the fastest and from which angle. At the end, there's a little conclusion. 2 launchers stood out to me, and you have to decide which feature you prefer. More on that later. But let's get started. We'll go through them one by one. We start with the MTB Law. That's the first launcher the engineer gets, and it's one of the easiest ones to use. You just shot roughly in the direction of the tank, the rocket finds its target itself, and then performs a top-down attack. This is important because we can't decide which side to attack from, so there's always a fixed damage value, making the test relatively short. Quick note on the test, the timer starts when the rocket launches and ends when the damage value from the final shot pops up on the tank. My measurements are quite accurate that way. Now to the MTB Law test. Every rocket deals 294 damage. It never changes because the attack is always top down. 4 shots are needed for this because tanks have 1000 health. It took 15 seconds, 30 frames. We just gotta stand that there for a minute. We will compare this against the others. Next up, the RPG 7v2. This is the one I used in the previous test. If you haven't seen this video, take a look at it. I've linked it in the description. Here we have to test 3 different attack sides. Front, the side, and the rear, because they all have different damage values. Frontal attack first. Since it only deals 204 damage per shot, it takes longer than the Law, obviously. 5 shots are needed. It took me 19 seconds and 35 frames, a full 4 seconds longer. Now from the side, here we deal more damage than with the Law. It's 351 damage per shot. That takes us 3 shots with the RPG, and that's 10 seconds and 4 frames, almost half the time than from the front. Now to the rear attack, we deal the most damage here, 592, so that only takes 2 shots to destroy a tank in 5 seconds and 48 frames. Again, roughly half the time. RPG takeaway, with the RPG you basically have the time you need to destroy a tank for each better angle. Positioning is truly invaluable here. From the front it takes longer, from the side it's better, from the rear it's best. Next launcher is the M148 or Javelin. Here I tested differently because it uses a top-down attack like the MTB Law, so the damage is the same regardless of the angle you shoot from, and it's always 350 damage per shot. The catch: the launcher has to lock onto the tank first. This lock-on process has to be included in this measurement because, yeah, it's part of the shot. It takes 3 shots in total to down a tank. That took me 16 seconds and 28 frames. A little Javelin conclusion. I consider this one relatively useless. Not useless, but not so good, because the maps are often very small in Battlefield 6, at least the ones we have until this point, and tanks are unlocking APS, so the active protection system to counter guided rockets. Since they are locked onto and you hear that in a tank, you won't even get a first shot or 1 shot in. It might make sense at huge distances because it aims itself, but the damage isn't big enough. I wouldn't use the thing. Finally, the M136 AT, which obviously stands for anti-tank. With this one you can guide the rockets after firing, similar to a Tau missile. After the damage, I found that it deals the exact same damage as the RPG. Front 204, side 351, rear 594. So I asked myself, why pick the RPG over this one if it takes the same damage? Because you can also shoot it at dumbfire mode without guiding it. This allows a quicker reload. I tested both, of course, staying in scope until the impact, so as if you were guiding it, and unguided, where I reloaded immediately without waiting. First, I took shots from the front, of course. Here we also need 5 for that. In the guided mode, I will call it that from here on, I took 23 seconds, 11 frames. And in the dump-fired mode with a quicker reload, it took like 18 seconds and 25 frames, which is 5 seconds faster. So of course, the more you shoot with it, the more time you save by reloading quickly. Now off to the side, we need 3 shots here to down a tank. In the guided mode, it took me 12 seconds 50 frames to down the tank. And in the dumbfire mode, 10 seconds 20 frames. Still 2.5 seconds faster because of the quicker reload. Now from the rear, like with the RPG, we only need 2 shots because of the massive damage it deals. Guided, it took me 6 seconds 46 frames, and in the dumbfire mode, it's only 5 seconds 18 frames. Still 1.5 seconds faster, but of course I only reloaded once since it's only 2 shots, so you won't save that much time from behind. So we have a final TTK ranking, slowest to fastest. Just a heads up, this project is in 60 frames, so 60 frames per 1 second. I will now convert into seconds for the ranking. Slowest was the M136 guided from the front with 23.18 seconds. Very slow. After that, the RPG from the front with 19.6 seconds, just a little bit faster. A little bit faster as well as the M136 dump-fired from the front with 18.4 seconds, a little bit faster than the RPG. After that, the M148, the Javelin, with 16.46 seconds. Then the MTB Law with 15.5 seconds. After that, the M136 again, guided from the side with 12.8 seconds. M136 dump-fired from the side with 10.33 seconds. Then the RPG from the side with 10.06 seconds. Now to the top 3, the fastest way to kill a tank. On third place, the M136 guided from the rear with 6.77 seconds. Second place, the RPG from the rear with 5.8 seconds. And the fastest way to kill a tank is with the M136 dump-fired from the rear with 5.25 seconds. That's the fastest way. So after seeing the numbers, I had to ask myself, why would I ever use the RPG when the M136 has the same damage and I can choose to guide it if I want to or if I needed to? Then I thought, okay, there has to be some difference with that because that won't make sense. So I tested the rocket velocity of both, and here we have it, the huge difference. I shot both rockets from 75 and 100 meters to test which rocket is faster, and I think you can see it in the footage right away that the RPG rocket is much faster than the one from the 136. Which makes sense because you need some time to guide the thing. That's the huge takeaway. The RPG rocket is 2.5 times faster than the rocket from the M136. I actually calculated this to convert it from the time it takes for the rocket to reach its destination. Like, I counted the frames and I did the math and everything. So, like I said, RPG rocket is 2.5 times faster than the other one. Final verdict. Choose the M136 if you want the absolute fastest kill and the flexibility to guide a rocket. Though it's very slow, choose the RPG if you value rocket speed for hitting moving targets like helicopters or planes. Being able to peek and just fire and hide quickly makes the RPG my personal favorite for those satisfying air kills, even if it's slightly slower overall in killing. Just a quick note, if you dump fire the M136 and go back into the scope while the rocket is still flying, you can regain control. Also, when guiding the M136 to long distances without staying in the scope, you have to aim slightly below the target. It's not perfectly accurate because I think as you throw the rocket away, it kind of guides the missile a little bit away from its path. So that was the ultimate launcher test. Please leave a like because this took forever to make. Subscribe if you want more Battlefield 6 research coming in the future. And finally, the usual ad block. If you buy anything on EA.com or the EA app, like the Season 1 Battle Pass, skins or currency or anything else not even related to Battlefield 6, please use my promo code. It's LUC001, so Luke001. Gives me a little kickback. Of course, you don't pay more. That's a win-win situation. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.